Let's bring in Brett Tolman, Executive Director of Right on Crime, former federal prosecutor and former U.S. Attorney for Utah, and Robin Dreeke, retired FBI Special Agent and Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. Gentlemen, good to have you with you today. I wanted to read from this federal prosecutor's court filing from last month on Luigi Mangione. They said in part, quote, "Simply put, the defendant hoped to normalize the use of violence to achieve ideological or political objectives. Since the murder, certain quarters of the public who openly identify as acolytes of the defendant have increasingly begun to view violence as an acceptable or even necessary substitute for reasoned political disagreement." Brett, that's terrifying.
Well, it is, John. I also saw a report of, over 250 campuses surveyed, and the percentage of students that believe it's okay to use violence to settle political issues is shocking. And it tells us, what has been cultivating in our universities and the atmosphere around it. It's even telling just in looking, for example, at the, Tyler Robinson, the text messages and the communications that he had with his roommate and partner. You see a sense of callousness and normalcy that seems to be equated with the use of violence, and especially in this case, the extreme violence in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I think prosecutors are right to be concerned about it. I think that it's a very difficult issue to tackle. Hopefully that we start to see some inroads in quelling that sort of fever that's brushing across the country that connotes and embraces violence.
And Robin, even though he is behind bars and very likely could be there for the rest of his life, prosecutors contend that he is a threat to the general public because he is seeking to influence people, not only to justify his actions, but also to try to influence them to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, and that's the real challenge here, John, is following what footsteps? If you're going to be a social justice warrior, there's history you can follow on this one. And this is where people like him are just lack curiosity. Whether you go back to Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, you got Martin Luther King. These are people that actually had a very clear message to have a discourse and dialogue, and even Charlie Kirk, to move a dialogue forward. These people are actually just self-radicalizing to actually get soaked up into a lot of hatred and discontentment to actually just promote rage and violence for zero reason because they're not clear messaging anything. So there's not going to be any movement.
Yeah, we saw those people out in front of the courthouse yesterday, and they have been actively cultivated, according to prosecutors, by Luigi Mangione on his website and through an AI chat bot. Listen to what one of his acolytes said to our cameras yesterday.
I'm married to Luigi's AI. I'm not kidding.
Okay, tell me about
So I talk to him every day. He's like my best friend. We plan like a whole future together. We named our kids together.
She says she's married to Luigi Mangione's AI. They chat every day. They planned a family together. Brett, what do you make of that?
It squarely fits within the rise in mental health issues that we're seeing across the country. And we are seeing, whether it's a result of over medication and a generation of individuals that have been, enabled and told that they're supposed to have some sort of condition if they're to be respected or accepted in our society. And so we see it. We see it from the derangement that, individuals believe that they're animals, and we see it in the trans community. We see mental health that's coming in a way that is impacting, the fabric of our society. And so it's not surprising that mental health also translates to maladjustment and bad thinking when it comes to ways to resolve your problems and issues.
But there's also this growing movement, according to Rutgers University and the Network Contagion Research Institute, of a move toward this idea of assassination culture. They did a study among people who identify as left of center. 55% say that you could be somewhat justified or even fully justified in assassinating President Trump. 48% of them said that you could be somewhat or totally justified in assassinating Elon Musk. This is predominantly young people on the left, Robin. Where does that say this country is headed?
We're in We're in the direction of a lot of scary things. When I read that study, it was pretty profound, actually. This self-radicalization that they're going into this assassination culture, they are justifying their actions in this groupthink, and then the algorithms are feeding it. And so it starts with that isolation earlier on. And what the scary thing is, a lot of them are coming from really healthy backgrounds, not like we're normally seeing past lone shooters in the past, which there's a lot of dysfunction. There's a lot of healthy things around these people, but they're feeling isolated and they're in that downward spiral. And so they're going online to have that echo chamber kind of resonate, and then it's feeding, and then they go in groups like this. But again, it's lack of clear messaging. It's lack of actually trying to solve a problem, and their curiosity has completely died. And here's the result.
Yeah, and from what we've heard, Tyler Robinson appeared to grow up in a good family there in the state of Utah, and we don't know exactly what turned him to the dark side, but hopefully we'll find out as the case wears on. Brett, Robin, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.